Today is March the 27th, Saturday. But in this special devotional, we will ask, how do we know when it's over? Let's find out together as we study John chapter 19, verse 30. Yesterday, Jesus said, I'm thirsty, and they soaked a sponge in some cheap wine that they had there, gave it to Jesus. When he had tasted it, when he had moistened his lips, he said very clearly, it's finished. And then he bowed his head and released his spirit. Jesus said it's finished. What was he talking about? The crucifixion is over? No. Only John records this word, it's finished. But it's interesting that it is in the book of John that we capture a flow of what's happening all through Jesus' ministry. That flow starts all the way at the other end of the book of John. John chapter 2, verse 4. Jesus is at a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and they've run out of wine. Mary, Jesus' mother, comes to Jesus and says they're out of wine. Jesus says, so? What does that have to do with me? My time has not yet come. Other translations say, my hour has not yet come. And this begins a running litany of references that Jesus makes to his hour. The next time we see it is in chapter 4, verse 21, as Jesus is talking to the woman at the well in John chapter 4. She says, where should we worship? Should we only worship in Jerusalem, like the Jews say? Or should we worship here at the temple the Samaritans have built on Mount Gerizim? Jesus replied, believe me, dear woman, the time is coming, the hour is coming, when it won't matter. You'll worship anywhere. Chapter 5, verse 25, and again in verse 28. I assure you, the time is coming, the hour is coming, and it's here now, when the dead will hear my voice, the voice of the Son of God. The hour is coming. He told his mother, my hour is not yet here. He told the woman at the well, he told the crowd here, the hour is coming. In chapter 7, verse 30, John says the leaders tried to arrest him, but no one laid a hand on him because his time had not yet come. His hour had not yet come. And then again, chapter 8, in verse 20, Jesus made these statements while he was teaching in a section of the temple known as the treasury. But he wasn't arrested because his time had not yet come. His hour had not yet come. So all through the book of John, we see this running reference to the hour of Jesus. It's not here yet, but it's coming. Now in John chapter 12, in verse 23. What happens in the context, Jesus has entered Jerusalem riding on a donkey. When he gets there, some Greek Jews, probably from Egypt, possibly from Babylon, call to Jesus and say, we'd like to speak with you. Jesus ignores that petition, but in verse 23, he says, now the time has come. The hour is here. Later on, in verse 27, Jesus says, now my soul is deeply troubled. Should I pray, Father, save me from this hour? But this is the very reason I came. Father, bring glory to your name. And a voice spoke from heaven saying, I've already brought glory to my name. I'll do so again. Jesus says, should I ask God to save me from this hour? And he says, no. This is why I came. Now, we then start the last 18 hours of Jesus' life in chapter 13, verse 1. John shifts the image. It's no longer the hour. John 13:1, before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world and return to his Father. He'd loved his disciples during his ministry on the earth. Now he loved them to the very end. Now John shifts the vocabulary. Instead of talking about the hour is coming, he now says the hour is here. This is now the end. He uses a word here that the noun form, the end, he uses it before in the book of John, John chapter 4, verse 34. There, Jesus says, my nourishment comes from doing the will of God who sent me and from finishing his work. That's the verb form of the noun, end. Ending his work. Chapter 17, verse 4, in the great priestly prayer of Jesus. Jesus says, I brought glory to you here on the earth by completing the work that you gave me to do, by finishing that work, by ending that work. And then here in chapter 19, first in verse 28, Jesus knew that his mission was now finished. And so in verse 30, when Jesus tasted the wine and the sponge, he said, it is finished. Not the crucifixion, not even his life, rather the mission that God had given him to do, he had completed. And so he said very clearly, it is finished. So how do you know when it's over? I don't know what you're going through, but you do. There are times when we need to make a decision. Is this the right time to stop doing what I'm doing? How do you really know when it's over, when to move on? First of all, you start with a very clear objective. Jesus certainly did. He referred from the very first time that he appeared in public to the hour, the time that was coming. He knew what the mission was that he had, and he knew that it wasn't the right time yet. Start with a clear objective. Hold periodic reviews. Throughout Jesus' ministry, frequently he would say, well, the hour's coming. It's not yet. Sometimes he said, it's been partially fulfilled. The hour is coming and already is. Periodically, he would review that hour. But if you start with a clear objective, you know what it is that God wants you to do, and you review that objective periodically, when the time comes, you'll know if the mission is finished or not. Please like, follow, and subscribe on whatever platform you've used to listen to this devotional. If you have questions for us, email them to us at questions@becomehope.com. Tomorrow is Sunday. We'll come together and we'll discuss what happened after the crucifixion. Monday, we'll continue our devotionals and hear Jesus say, "Into your hands I commend my spirit."